Hello everyone. Today I'm gonna do a tutorial of an architectural piece. I'm going to use this as a model. I think that the important part here is just finding the middle. So here I'm going to use the this ruler. This is the middle of the piece. I already made like a sketch here, but the piece that I'm using as a model is wider than my journal page, so I'm gonna choose like some proportions as much as I want, but also I'm gonna do this very easy. As you can see, I started finding all the squares or triangles, always finding the middle. You can see that clearly here, but my this page has dots, which is really helpful to find the middle and just count and make calculations. So if you're a beginner like I am, you can use that. So I always draw thinking about that. I make a very simple sketch, and from there I try to find the pieces that are squares and triangles and circles and things like that. So the easiest way to me is just finding all the pieces, and as I said, always the middle. Like if you find the middle of the piece, then from there you can start making calculations to each side, because all the buildings have some kind of proportion. If you see this is a front piece, so you can see that all from the door to the right and to the left there is the same size. So for example here, as I said, this model that I'm using is wider than the piece of paper that I have to draw. So I just make some proportions according to my piece or what is easier for me. Here you can see it has a triangle here, so it's easier for me to do that. I would recommend to use always a ruler. I'm using sometimes my hands, but it makes mistakes, as you can see. So I prefer the ruler always. It makes everything easier. So for this piece in the middle, I do something like an S. I don't do the art. Sometimes if you make S's, if it makes sense, it just kind of gives the idea that there is art in there. So here I'm drawing the door, but I'm going to make it wider just because it's the main the main thing in the building, at least to my eyes. It's just something that you wanna uh, highlight. So every time you have a piece like that, I would recommend you to find a piece that you can highlight. And you know, the other things that are um, small pieces of art, just doodle that in the simplest way that you can. If you make mistakes, doesn't matter, because this is a very proportional piece. If you make a mistake in one side, just make it the same thing in the other side, and it will just look at as good. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be um good enough for your eyes. So making this door over here, and it has like shadows. So I'm going to draw these shadows. I don't know if you do the flowers, but if you do, then it's very easy to do the shadows in architecture. It's just one of the easiest things to do. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did in the left side, just because I made a mistake there, and just do the shadows in the same way. And now the door has like this upper part, and from there it's kind of a circular thing. And so I'm gonna do that with my hand. I'm gonna do many times. There are three layers in there. You don't have to do every layer, but if you want to do that, like, some details are always good. And then it has like kind of bricks, so I'm gonna do that with my hand. You don't have to measure that. I think that the ruler is important for the parts that are really geometric, like the triangles or the squares or rectangles. But the rest of that, you can do that by your hand, and it will make it look more handmade, which is always good. And then you can see that there is a part that is pop up. You just take a little bit of the corner and just go ahead. And this part is another part, like it has like some drawings in there, so you just go with your hands and do whatever you think it's, if the more abstract it looks like, the better it is. So you don't have to do something like realistic in there. And then from there, I just keep doing the squares. There are two windows here, and as this has like these dots, it's really easy to draw them. And then you can add the shadows. The shadows is actually the thing that makes it look better in a 3D sensation. And now this part has also a balcony that I'm going to do like with my hand. Just go ahead and draw lines really quick. And then I'm gonna do this like semicircular thing, but because I found the middle already, uh, the biggest part here is finding like this 3D. You find just that and make it like a perpendicular thing, and then the circle up. That's the main thing in this building. That's the hardest part to draw, and I think it's very easy if you understand that you have to give it some dimension, and it's a you can see now that the line that I made like in a side, it makes it look a little bit better. And from there you just go ahead and put the traces, and then you can also add some texture, and then again the shadows will help out. So you just go and trace some lines, like as I said, if you're doodling flowers anytime, it helps a lot because you have to make it like kind of I don't know, like squares, small squares, easy. But if not, just make simple lines and it will be just fine. And the same way, you just follow the same lines. You match all the lines in the second part and make that. And it has a clock in there, so I'm gonna do a small circle and not much in there, not much detail because I don't wanna make it so realistic. I don't wanna follow this. I wanna do this simple. So in here, there is also and in the point of this, and now I'm gonna do like a little bit more of shadows here because that's how it is in the drawing too. And I'm gonna go ahead and do this in the top part. Sorry, my baby is here, but he's fine. He's fine. He's just knocking the door for a little bit, but he's fine. Okay, I finished the shadows here, and here you have, this is the building. As you can see, it's not as white as the model is not perfect. Now I'm gonna draw like the title here. It's really hard to do it for me because I'm not really good at lettering, but I'm doing my best. And I think that the best part of having a journal and practicing is like you can take your time to draw these, try to make it in the best way that you can, trying to understand how the letters are drawn, and just take your time. I'm not really good and I'm aware of that, and that's fine because I have time to practice. I have a life to practice, and I do this for fun. So now this has this look. It kind of looks like it needs some French thing. So I'm gonna use this Eiffel Tower printing postcard that I have, and I also want to stamp something here, but first I want to paste this with this tape that has squares. As you see, it's really neutral, so I'm not going to cover the word Paris. When I'm doing something geometric like in this one, I really just like cutting neat edges in my washi tape to paste whatever I paste in my pages. So now I'm going to use this stamp. I got this from, I think it's from Tuesday morning. Um, my mother-in-law gave me this, and I'm gonna use this paper, scrap of paper, to cover my drawing, and then I'm gonna stamp this below the doodling. There you go. I'm sorry, moving the camera. There you go, and it looks neat. I love this. So now I'm gonna stamp something vintage here because it deserves that. So I'm gonna put this, but I'm gonna put this in the north in the right way, because I wanna do this right here, and it looks fine. But I need some sort of a stamp below these, just because I'm gonna write in here. I think these clear stamps are perfect. So I have a lion here. Maybe I'm gonna use this to add like some kind of detail in my um, postcard. So like kind of a stamp thing, and I think it looks good. And as I said again, I'm using this scrapbook paper, so it just doesn't go to the other page. And now I'm gonna add some stamps here. I think that I have a lion here somewhere that looks so fine for this one. This is the one, so I'm gonna add some ink on it. And I have a problem with big stamps, and I don't know if you're really good at acrylic. I hate this, but when I use acrylic stamps, it usually doesn't print as well as this. But this came out good because I was able to fix it. But you know, I always have problems. Um, Now I want to use some washi tape. This is vintage, but this one doesn't look quite as good. Let's see if the other one. This is most postcard thing. That doesn't look. You know what? I'm just gonna leave this without washi tape. And now, because I use this pretty handwriting here and so fancy, usually I do not use much. I'm sorry, I just keep moving the camera. I use my cell phone to record this video, so it's just like, and I have something that is like so stable. I just move the camera every time, or the phone every time I move. I'm so sorry for that. So now I have all these postage stamps that I'm not completely sure if I want to put that somewhere here. Maybe another one. I love this one. Is from Las Meninas. I don't know how do you say that in English, but Las Meninas is in Spanish, from Velázquez. Oh, I like this one. So it was a black and white postage stamp that I got from Postal Love. I think it's the name. There is someone selling vintage stuff on Instagram, and I got I think I got 200 stamps from here for $6 or something like that. So, and I thought it was a big deal because I really like European stamps, and I didn't have the way to access to none of them. So now I'm happy that I have 200 of them, and this is from Belgium, and I think this works so good here. So I'm gonna paste this here. And like that. So now I'm gonna write, but as I said, because I have this beautiful handwriting in the morning and in the right side, well, I maybe it's not that beautiful, but you know, it's fancy. So I'm gonna use the ruler to just measure like the page, and then make it through. I'm just painting the edge of the postcard so I don't accidentally write below outside of the edges, because it wouldn't be looking so good. So here I'm trying to hide my handwriting below the postcard, and so it looks good. You can write also behind the postcard, but today I'm not going to do that. So I'm just measuring this here like 1 centimeter at a time, and just going to do that. And then I'm gonna put some lines. I really don't need to draw all the lines. I'm just showing you how I would do if I was doing this, as like if I was trying to be very careful. That I'm not usually very careful. I just don't like taking too long journaling. I do really quick spreads. And then I'm going to use my handwriting. I'm practicing a lot to write architecture there. And then I'm going to write about how it is to, to go and try to doodle and stuff like that. This is just a personal stuff, but I really like doodling. I am not as good as I wish I was, but I think that I learned a lot. I made a lot of mistakes. I have a lot of drawings that I'm not really proud of. But I think that you learn with time, with a lot of practice, and I like using vintage paper. This is a junk journal, and it's my favorite kind of journal because, I mean, as I said, this is a junk journal, so it's just a lot of junk. For example, this page is uh, from a notebook that I used to dry flowers. So it has like this color that is the color of the flowers from the oxidation of the flowers and getting dry. So they look good. And so now I'm really trying to erase the drawing that I made there in the lines, and that's fine. This is the final look, and I really like it. I hope that you enjoyed that.